start first and welcome everyone to this. This is not the 19th session of the TWG. It's a special session that you as the members of the group would make a decision on our strategic direction going forward. So may I invite our chair, Mr. Rona, to provide a quick opening remarks before we get into the details for today. Thanks, Aruna.
Yeah, thank you, Tirapong, for inviting, and good afternoon, everyone. And then, as you see from this display, that today we are not having this our regular monthly meeting. Instead of, we are having a strategic discussion regarding our work plan for 2022, and then. As you know that it's been nearly 2 years after the formulation of the technical working group on disaster-related statistics, and I would like to thank all our members and the ESCAP Secretariat and also the partners for your dedication and then efforts for making this group alive. And as we all know that the main objective of our technical working group is to expand the production and dissemination of the basic range of disaster-related statistics by countries through applying the disaster-related statistical framework. And our monthly meetings are dedicated to fulfilling our objective by inviting speakers from relevant expertise and sharing good practices of the regional countries. And again, we are really thankful for all of you, our members, for making time for actively participating in our monthly meetings, besides your busy roles in your organizations. And as a group, we discussed and agreed the topics for the future TWG meetings in 2022, and we are organizing our monthly meetings based on the topics aligned with the 5-year strategy of the TWG. So to enhance the effectiveness of the TWG and strengthen our member countries' technical capacity, our ESCAP Secretary colleagues is proposing idea or a proposal for implementing the TWG activities for 2022, and they would like to listen our implications on that. So I'm really looking forward for your active participation on that, and then please feel free to give your comments and then participate in the discussion and then provide us your implications regarding this proposal, which will be presented by Mr. Tirapong in a couple of seconds. And then without any delay, I would like to ask Mr. Tirapong to introduce the proposal and facilitate this special session. Over to you, Mr. Tirapong. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let me share my presentation. Maybe I can share screen, might be easier. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, I should be able to click this. Okay, thank you. And as Aruna said, so the technical working group on disaster-related statistics was established with a purpose in mind and with a clear objective that laid out in the 5-year implementation plan. And just a quick recap of those aims and objectives of the group. So we said we would like to strengthen the members' technical capacity on disaster-related statistics. We would also like to contribute to the global development of internationally agreed standards relevant to this area. And by doing that, we would like to also support members of the group in terms of overall data governance when it comes to disaster statistics. These are three specific objectives that the group agreed upon. I think in March this year, you might be familiar with this table. So this is basically a cut and paste from the 5-year plan that started actually last year. And the 2022 theme of the TWG is all about demonstration. So we would like to demonstrate how disaster statistics are produced, how this can be relevant to international discussions in this area, and demonstrate how effective governance of the data in this area could be pursued. So this is about demonstration for this year. And if you look on the left panel of this table, these are the proposed topic of the meetings this year, and that's why we followed the previous sessions of the TWG follow this structure. I think 2 months ago, we discussed about this hazard certification, and then last month with Sushu bringing us to some of the details on some of the background statistics exposure. And those proposed topics are fully aligned with tables proposed in the disaster-related statistics framework. On your right panel, you will see table A running down to table G, correspondence accordingly. And we also so with that, the current approach so far has been that in each month we would invite speakers to make presentations on topics that are relevant to the theme of the month, and then we follow by Q&A. And that has been managed well so far. So we are, as Aruna said, we are thinking of how we would ensure that our objective this year could be met, and we achieve the three themes of our objectives, and we could be able to measure our progress by the end of the year. With that, a few internal consultation, particularly with guidance from our chair. So we here's the proposed, not so new, but again the alternative approach for implementing the activities that we agreed upon in the 5-year implementation plan. So instead of inviting speakers to present on topics of the month, it might be more useful for us to actually delve down into the DRSF tables, and the presentations that may follow would reflect the findings that countries found from reviewing those tables. So this is the, so let me just run through the proposed approach for the work. So first of all, we would have members in our group to review the DRSF tables, and the review should be conducted with key national stakeholders. So if you are from the NSO, so would be better if you also sit with the disaster authority. If you are coming from disaster authority, would be better if you also sit with the NSO colleagues, and as well as other key stakeholders in the country. So once the review is conducted and finished, I hope that members could summarize your experiences on. If you look at the tables, there would be columns and rows and cells, right? So in that particular table, what cells that you can fill with no or minimal data or methodological issues, so you know exactly how to do it. If so, what are your data sources and who do you collaborate with? So if there are cells that you can fill, definitely there will be cells that you cannot fill immediately. So what are the challenges? Either it can be a data challenge, it can be the methodological challenge, it can be institutional challenge that prevent you to be able to fill the cells immediately. Also, by going through the table, what data do you wish to have in the tables that are currently not part of that particular topic, but they are important to your disaster resolution plans or strategies, policies, or important for the Sendai or SDG monitoring. And after that, we would gather again in the TWG group to share the experience. So this will be the presentations, but would specific objective of sharing the experience of the review that you conducted over the time that we're going to discuss. And then we would have the other members who didn't have a chance to review the tables to comment and to reflect on the findings, whether it's different from their countries or is it the same in their countries. Hopefully to see if we can make some conclusion and way forward on those tables. So what does it mean in this proposal? We are talking about a conduct of the review of the table. So if we maintain monthly meeting of the TWG, we might not have enough time for the members to sit with their national counterparts in the country to go through the table together. We might want to conduct the TWG meeting every 2 months instead of monthly meetings. That would also mean that we should have tangible results, both in terms of the immediate output that by reviewing all the tables, we should have a clear documentation of Asia-Pacific experiences, challenges that we found, and perhaps potential solution for disaster-related statistics. And that should feed into the outcome that we actually set forth in our 5-year plan. By going through the tables, talking to your colleagues in the country, the technical capacity will be strengthened. And once we have this documentation ready, it would be clearer to convey Asia-Pacific good practices, and that could feed clearly into the international discussions on disaster-related statistics global framework. And I think I emphasize a lot on talking to your national counterparts in other agencies. By doing so, I hope that would also improve interdepartmental collaboration. So that and these 3 points are what we wanted to achieve in our 5-year plan anyway. So how does it work? If we opt for every 2-month meeting of the TWG, say we have 8 weeks to work on. So the first week we would select a table or table groups that would generally follow the DISF guidance and also the 5-year plan that we agreed on. Then we should recruit nominees or volunteers from our group to review the tables in their countries. And I would personally suggest 2 or 3 countries so that we don't spend a lot of time when we meet again after 8 weeks. But hearing from experiences from 2 or 3 countries would enrich us to understand and also reflect on challenges or solutions in our own country. So that should be done on the first week. Then perhaps actually the rest of the time, then the members will review the tables with their key national stakeholders. And as I think I mentioned, at least the NDMA and NSO, and as relevant depending on the tables, key other stakeholders. And this is not meant to be a full-time review exercise. If you are familiar with the table and you all are familiar with the tables, it's a matter of sitting with your national counterparts and going through the table together, column by column, cell by cell, and that might take maybe only 1.5 hours, and maybe 1 or 2 or 3 sessions over 6 weeks, so that you can gather things that are possible and things that are not possible. Ideally, if you have your data ready, the most straightforward things of saying things are feasible or not is to fill in the data into the cells, right? But that if that takes more time, then maybe not the priority. But the key aim here is to access with the experts in the room, from the NDMA and NSO, whether or not we can accomplish table compilation. What are feasible, what are not feasible. If they are not feasible, what are the challenges? If they are feasible, what are the potential data sources? And who do we need to talk to? And throughout this process, the secretary would also provide and offer technical support, including clarifying questions that you may have, and also holding regular meetings with the members who are reviewing the tables. Then comes the last week, week number 8. Then the members would also summarize the experience, maybe in PowerPoint presentation, in bullet forms, ready for sharing those experience with the member of the group. Then the member of the group would also reflect on those experiences and also share their views. So this would be a recurring process. So first set of the tables for the first 8 weeks, and then we move to the second set of the tables for the next 8 weeks, for example. So I will stop here first for the proposal, and happy to receive any questions from the group, or things that are not very clear. So I'm happy to further clarify. Can I start with Aruna? So
Yes, of course, if there is no any volunteer, I would be always happy to provide, to give my opinion on. I found this approach very practical, comparing with our current approach. And then I believe that this approach is we, like regional countries, we would be more benefited not only reviewing the tables, like going table by table, but also, as you mentioned, it also deepening the cooperation with the relevant agencies. Also, you showed that we will have the documentation, like a regional documentation, which is going well, and then what is the problem, what is the challenge, and then how we can, tackle these challenges or issues, and then etc. So I personally, I more prefer to move to this new approach, and then going over the tables together with 2 or 3 countries, and then after 8 weeks we can introduce our results and then share our results, and then discuss about what's going well, what is not going not so well, and then etc. So also I'm hoping our regional countries will be volunteering to participate and then to test this new approach. And then I highly encourage our members to share the implications on that. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Aruna, for the support. Can I invite our members for your views? Maybe if I can invite our colleague from TWG, Johan Unal. Not sure if you can hear us. But the microphone is muted. All right. Maybe can I have Sonam opening the microphone. So Sonam, you can go ahead.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to apologize. I have missed a lot of sessions recently because it is financial closing time in Bhutan,
Right.
June, July, especially June, and I think I missed because of my tight engagement here. Regarding the proposal being discussed here, I'm to be frank, I have not understood very or completely, but I'm willing to get involved and work, and I would require guidance and hand-holding, but I would like to participate in any type of task. So
Thanks
that's
so much, Sonam. Yeah, and that exactly. I think you describe it better. Is about hand holding, right? And then yes, ESCAP with you and other volunteering countries would also just review the tables together. There are things that we also don't know, but when it comes to these tables and experiences, there's no better place than Asia Pacific countries to provide. So, but yeah, thanks for your support. I have Suchu's hands. Yeah, sorry, Sonam. Go ahead.
One more thing. In one of the meetings, I was recommended to invite an official from National Statistics Bureau of Bhutan, and I contacted director, and he recommended me to contact another person, but somehow I could not. So by next meeting, hope I will bring him together into this.
Thanks so much. I think that's the spirit. Thanks. So Sushil.
Respected Chair, hi Terapong. Oh, it has long time. You see,
yes.
Yeah. So due to other work on the office, I had totally little bit confusion about this. About this the proposal, and this group work is from the same country or from the different country. Can you share, please, in the summarize? Summarize what the proposal, what kind of things you share. Please,
right,
Terapong.
thanks. No problem, Sushil.
Because
so
I became little bit busy due to other work. Sorry for this. Okay.
No problem at all. I'm happy to just quickly recap what I said.
Okay.
So instead of us listening to speakers, as we did so far, this process is going to involve countries, including, for example, you, Sushil, sitting with the disaster agency colleagues and open one table in DRSF and just point column and cell whether we can fill the data or not. And then we go cell by cell. Yeah, so that's the whole purpose. And if you can fill the cell, just say which data source you use. If you cannot, what are the problems?
Okay.
I think, and we just go through that table with stakeholders in the country, because sometimes data that you have might fill half of the table, but data that other agencies have might fill another half of the table. So it's important to sit with colleagues within the system. So that's the proposal in a nutshell.
Yeah, which means some support we can get from the ESCAP for this.
Yeah, definitely technical support. So we're going to, like Sonam said, doing this together. When it come to sitting together with your colleagues, might be easier for you to talk in your own language. So that we don't need to be part of. But once you have one session with your colleagues and there are a lot of questions, then the ESCAP would be able to provide technical support on that. The idea of the working group is to progress on the objectives that we agreed upon for the 5 years. So I think this is one way of material like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I guess you are not opposing.
Let us discuss with the colleagues from the NDRMA here, from the from the Ministry of the Home works here. Then I'll connect with you. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you very much. And yeah, I also see a few colleagues from the PSA. I remember face. So
Hi, Tirabog. Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Hi. With regards to the discussion, so I also support the idea of the new approach. For me personally, the previous approach was also helpful, sharing of the different practices of the countries. But for me, not all country practices are already are readily applicable to the other countries. But this new approach, which is reviewing together with the other agencies such as the NSOs with the NDMAs and probably local government units, this approach allows all countries to do and practice the review altogether. Yeah. And we will also be able to collaborate with our data partners, and this will strengthen data sharing not only for the DRSF, possibly also for the reporting on the Sendai framework, the SDGs, and other statistics that needs to be discussed. So thank you.
Thanks.
I will also cascade this. I am attending on behalf of our director, ANS Vivian Ilarina. We will inform them of this new approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think you describe the work better than I do. So thanks a lot. Yeah, right. So we have, I think we have our colleague from, I think our Turks that might have issue with the microphone. So we can invite our colleague from Cambodia, if you are still online, from the National Institute of Statistics.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good afternoon. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Since so the schedule, the program, I think important thing, but the Cambodia National Institute of Statistics yes have to study and compile. I mean, we try to collect the source where maybe we had to follow that the guideline, I think, but we will see how it is. Yeah. So we I mean from the program we not yet see the detail about how we develop for the implement it. This I think we need to have some assistant, technical assistant. I think. Yeah. So this if we look at the 22 program, we think we need to talk with relevant institution for the implement program. However, we need technical assistance from the project, I think. And so we need to develop the program for implementation since we not yet for contact or discuss with the like disaster management institute organization. I think our colleagues join every meeting, but now I think not yet formulate the framework and like for mechanism how to produce the disaster statistic. We need some more time for to formulate it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And I truly understand that. And I think that is why this new approach could support your ambition. I think, well, some of you may know that my background is from environmental accounts, and basically doing something like doing the tables like we are talking here. And there is no better way in understanding them by just doing it, right? And this is the only way we will understand what's possible and what is not possible. And this is we are at this point not talking about the actual data compilation. We are perhaps looking at the maximum of sitting with a few people in your country, in this case Cambodia, and look at the tables together and try to understand the table. First of all, do we understand the table? If we don't understand the table, this is something we need to improve in the DISF, right? And
Yeah.
but if we pass that, we understand the table. Now the second question would be, can we actually fill it based on data that we have in Cambodia or in other countries? If we can, just say what we can. If we can't, just say what we can't. And
Yeah.
and those things would be very helpful in going in the correct direction, because right now I guess I don't see the end goal, because I don't know what's the problems. Once we know the problems, and hopefully is shared concerns, then that's something that we can do together. And good thing about I think, as Aruna said, and also Faith said, that when we gather again after 2 months, the challenge in your country might already been overcome by other countries, and they will be able to share, oh, I know you have this problem, we had it before, and this is how we solved it in our country. You might want to try, right? And I think, and without actually sitting with your colleagues in your country, in your country is so difficult, because otherwise it's going to be like reading a book. And that is not the purpose of the ISF at all. Yeah, but I hear you. This is not something very easy. It needs collaboration, and I think that's what we actually set forth to achieve in our 5-year plan, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think whether we need to see what the table plan your
Exactly.
can sit.
Yeah.
However, we still need the cooperation with our colleagues disaster management organization, because they are manage all the disaster information
Right.
in country. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think you are far ahead of me. I have that in my mind, but thanks for bringing that up. We're going to need to select what tables to focus on, right? But before we go there, I think we have other colleagues here. So Kazi, so would you like to pitch in here?
Yes. Sorry, you were talking on with me basically.
Hey.
Thank you. I am from Bangladesh. My name is Kazi Saidur Rahman. I work with the UNRC office in Bangladesh, and there is a couple of things. We are very benefited with the DRSF guide. That is a fantastic way to move forward on the each of the work we are doing here. So we are basically developed the informed subnational index here in Bangladesh with using the 87 indicator. So we are also working with the information management working group, is basically in line with the TWG type of thing under the humanitarian coordination task team in Bangladesh. So they are also planning have a common operational data set. So all those things, it could be very interesting if we could share something with in line with your agenda in the next meeting or the another meeting, that how we are doing here, because of the what I'm saying something that in Bangladesh there is a no truly humanitarian situation. Only Coxbazar has a different case, but in the natural disaster there is a government have much more capacity. But when we see something that the Sendai framework reporting and other thing, we are a little bit far behind. So our main objective is to basically the strengthening the data-centric decision-making process. So that's why we are coming up with a new model. We call it speed model. And if you look at the stuff in the internet and you see something that even RCAC handbook, this is coming up as a best practice for Bangladesh and linking with the humanitarian development, what we call a nexus. So how humanitarian coordination can promote the nexus that we are a little bit piloting here. That is very good to see something that I learned a lot with all the discussion here, and we are very closely engaged with the BPS. We want to close the gap between the National Statistics Office as well as the Ministry of Disaster Management. So we see something how we are differently doing the frequency of data collection and the endorsement of the administrative data to the official data. That type of things we're doing in Bangladesh to support to the RCS role. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And yeah, I know that Bangladesh is one of the first pilot countries that tested the ISF, I think, and you took that forward with your ownership and just run with it. So I think when it comes to this review, would be perhaps straightforward, and I think you would be able to share your experience to the group, and we would like to bring this experience to the global discussion. I think that's the main idea. So thanks a lot. Yeah, just thanks a lot. So just come back to Wendy's question. Let me just quickly share my presentation again. So you might see it already. So we're going to go table by table, right? So the first table would be table A1. on just basic summary of number of occurrence by hazard type, by scale, by geographical region. So this is one. It's supposed to be the easiest, but as we know, there are a lot of methodological issues involved. But it may or it may not. Then I would also propose that we can also try table B1A on the population background statistics and hazard exposure as a start. Then so these two tables would be the first two tables for the first 8 weeks. And then if everything goes well, then we go to the next 3 tables, so on and so forth. And Ying also has the DSF table open in her laptop. Maybe she can also share so that we have an idea. So this is, for example, this is table A1. Thanks, Ying. Yes. So basically, the task is actually is quite straightforward. If you like, print out this page, then sit with your peers, and I would encourage NDMA and NSO at the very minimum. And in the case of Bangladesh, for example, you're very self, Kazi, to be involved, and then just go cell by cell. First of all, look at the table. Do you understand? If you understand, then go to the first cell. Can we fill number of disaster occurrence that is classified as geophysical type? And that is very large event. So basically that, if you think you can, just tell us what source of data you use. Then you move to the second cell, the first cell, and so on and so forth. And then I think in this particular table, some interesting discussion might be on, well, looking at our disaster database. How do we adjust for the multiple countings of the event? That's it, the column before the last, right? How do we do it? Do we even understand what it actually means, right? If not, then that's a point where we should discuss. And throughout this 6 weeks, we ESCAP as a TWG secretariat would reach out to the country reviewing the table and try to answer all the questions. So that's basically the idea.
That's the yearly, or you say reasonable the yearly time frame.
That exactly type of the questions, right? So do we have enough guidance in this? I think and then, but to answer quickly, yes, yearly, but it also depends on your data need in the country. You might need it monthly, you might need it quarterly, right? And then if that's the data need in your country, are you able to provide that information? Right. So, but minimum is a yearly compilation, because if we want to monitor, let's say, Sendai monitoring SDG, so that's the idea. So thanks, Ying. So we don't want to spend time in reviewing the table right now, but give us a sense of what is going to be involved in this. Again, this is not about data compilation. If you are able to sit with experts in your system, and basically people from NDMA, people from NSO, they should be able to fairly evaluate the possibility of filling in the gaps there, right? If both of them say they can't, then the likelihood is that maybe there's a gap, right? So but then that's what we learn. I think that's the whole process. And may I, okay, and I think that in program we also have specific time for summarizing the action points going forward. May I suggest, since we only have maybe slightly more than 10 people here, so the secretariat would send a quick poll to the entire TWG membership and asking this question: do you agree? And if yes, then send us back the feedback. It will be basic like simple yes no question, right? And with the attaching the PowerPoint that we discussed, and then names of people who they can contact to get more clarification. And I understand, like Sushil said, and also Faith, that they also need to discuss with either the superior or also other colleagues in other agencies. I think that would be a good time to do so. So we are going to send this out next week, because I think there's a UN holiday in Bangkok this week. So next week we're going to send this out to the whole member of the TWG, including getting volunteers for the first group of tables. So who would like to raise their hand up? Well, a little bit of warning, as you know, in the GISF, the more you wait, the more difficult the tables will be. The first set of tables are very common in disaster databases in the population statistics. But if you go down the track, then you get to work on economic loss and damage estimation, and then counting of the losses and what are affected, what are displaced. So those type of discussion. So just not expecting any answer right now, but in case you would like to raise your hand up right now, I'm happy to record your country as a first group. So basically, the first 8 weeks will focus on table A and B1A, on basic information anyway. Hi, are you raising your hand up for that?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, I saw your table, so it summary, but maybe you have a detailed table, right?
Yeah, we have the DISF manual, so that would be attached in the email that's going to send out this next week as well.
Do you have already manual for explanation each question, each in the table, right?
Yeah, to the extent, yes. Well, everyone would have. Kun Paul, would you mind copy the link to DISF in the chat box, so that everyone would have the direct access, and we are going to attach the DISF again in the email that we're going to send out next week.
Yeah, it's
so
send
that
by
yeah.
email. You can send by email.
Yeah, exactly. That would be initial guidance, let's say. But again, did really bring down into your national context, right? Specific issues in your country.
If possible, thing may let's say suggestion or comment about could you have to have the like one meeting guide on how to on the table explanation. I mean other meeting on to guide on the introduce your table. I think.
Right.
Maybe
okay.
some explain. Otherwise, we don't know what the question on and the source of what kind of data information. Sometimes in the country they have information, but we don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe you can explain that by a question or in the table. So maybe we can like imagine information have or not have, or available or not available. If you not explain, I think maybe most question don't have.
Right. Yeah, I really take your suggestion. I think this is a good one, and the plan is once we get the volunteer countries, then the very first time we meet is to actually go through the work planning and precisely what you said, Wendy. Just
Yeah.
this is the tables that you are going to work with over the next 6 weeks, and these are what it tries to achieve. And if you have any question on that, then we are going to discuss in that meeting. And actually, you would also be able to go back to the previous meetings of the TWG. I trust there's some discussions on the tables already. But again, that's exactly what we're going to do. That first of all, we should be able to understand the table first before telling what we have and what we don't have.
Yeah, I'm just. I think let's say sorry about that. The previous meeting we are missing many
No problem
meetings.
at all. Yeah, I understand
So
that we have
because we so busy with schedule with our economic census. Now we still data analyzing and preparing for the next agriculture census.
Right.
So but my colleague they join in the meeting. Yeah. So
Thanks
maybe
a lot.
I follow up them to recall that one maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, much
Thank you.
appreciated it. Right. Right. So the next session point from the secretariat, we're going to send out these questions, simple questions to the TWG members by next week, and then we might contact you to see if you would like to volunteer. And then we definitely can set aside time for discussion. No problem at all. Then I think we have a few minutes. May I just bring you to attention to my last slide? So let me try to do it.
Please remind me if I'm missing something. Sometimes I see that.
No problem. Yeah. Okay. So my very last slide is this. Yeah. So over the time, and we know that we are working in ever-changing environment, right? So there might be people coming into the organization. There might be changes in the positions and duties of our work. So we just want to make sure that the members of the group would have the opportunities both registering for the newcomer to the group, and you will see the link and the QR code on the left. Or, for example, if they somehow happen to change their positions in the government system, and they prefer to opt out from the TWG group, then you are able to do so as well. Because I think we just need to be very democratic, that we recognize changing of the human resources all the time. So this will be a channel for you to invite new people to the group, and also maybe deciding to resign from the group, for example. And you don't need to take note of this. We're going to send the presentation to you, so that you would have this, and we are going to, from now on, we would have these links as a standing information in our email, so that every time there might be some changes, you could also just click and then submit new information. Not that I encourage everyone to sign off from the group, but just so that we have a system to which we can record the changes. So thank you. I think can I hand this over to Ariel now?
Yeah, thank you, Terapong, for your session. And then, even though we had only a few members, but we were able to listen them, and then their comments, and then what they want, and then what they're expecting. So Thank you very much, those who participated, for making the time and then shared your implications or opinion. And then thank you, UN ESCAP Secretariat, for the proposing a new initiative to strengthen the technical capacity of our members. So we will expect to receive an email regarding this email about this strategic discussion, and then run a poll that whether they prefer these old approaches or the new approach. And then, as Terrapon said, we are a very democratic group, so technical working group. So our members will hopefully our members will participate in this poll very actively, and then we will hear back from them, and then we can we can work through our new approaches very soon. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, and yeah, have a pleasant the rest of your day.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.